welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, how are we doing today?
Sweaty and stinky. I finally took the garbage out for the first time in like 2 weeks because tonight's my trash night, and we had the end of the garbage strike. And it leaked down my stairs as I was carrying it outside. So I got home from work and immediately had to start scrubbing my stairs and getting this garbage goop out of my house. So it's been a great afternoon. Sweltering hot, scrubbing garbage, going good times. How about you, Gilbs?
Nothing like it. Yeah, my trash day is today. And I was looking out back there before. I don't think they've come yet because I was going to put more out last night. And then we got that storm, so maybe they'll come later today. Maybe I'll have time to still get that out there. Had some technical difficulties here, so a little bit later than the 4 o'clock we planned, but I think we're going smooth here. I'm going to be predicting some open night lineups. There's so many moving parts on this lineup. We discussed that. Steve 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏 and I discussed that last night with Jason Martinez as well. So make sure you guys check that one out. So many moving pieces. I was finalizing it up till the second before record here. So excited to get into that. Make sure you're subscribed to the Broad Street Hockey on YouTube, Broad Street Hockey Podcast on Apple and Spotify. And as I'm saying that about the trash collection, my Tina is texting me saying they come tomorrow. So I have my days messed up. So they come tomorrow. So that's why it has not been picked up yet. So thank you, Tina, there.
Shout out Tina.
Yeah, we have some Flyers-ish news to get to here. First thing you put up, I guess, league-wide news is keeping the draft decentralized, which you have boo with some exclamation marks here. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like I've got my thoughts out there a bit, but I want to know what you think.
I think, like, what other time of year does the entire NHL come together? Like, journalists or front offices or whatever. Like, there's the GM's meeting, I guess, but that's not really the same. This is a unique thing. I don't know. It's also more fun. Like, the Sphere draft in 2024, that ruled. That was so good. This decentralized version, it took way too long. You had that weird interview room. I don't really know what to describe it as.
The draft house. The draft house, they called it, apparently, right? I had it muted, but that's what I heard that they called it.
Yeah, well, so did we, mostly outside of like the actual announcements. But no, maybe they can do it better, but it just, I don't know. It took the circumstance and pomp and whatnot out of the event, and I felt like it kind of was a dud.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a solid middle ground because the draft going 4.5 hours, having that draft house, having Bettman bring on these virtual guests to announce the pick, like, it doesn't make sense. I feel like ESPN definitely made it worse than it could be. I understand why teams want to have it decentralized. They want to have their private stuff. So many scouts can fit in there rather than at a small table. But yeah, like, it would be nice to have all the teams, journalists come together. I remember, I think last offseason, someone brought it up that, like, baseball has the winter meetings in like December where all the free agents are there, all the agents, all the teams and whatnot. Maybe hockey can do something like that. Maybe at the combine, it's like the combine, there's a lot of people there. I know some agent holds something else that a lot of teams go to, but the draft being decentralized. Milstein, yes.
The Russian like Gold Star camp or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but the draft being decentralized is not why the presentation was bad. Have every team send a representative there, maybe a few, send whoever they want. You can give them a soundproof room if they want to be on Zoom with their stuff there, and follow the clock. 3 minutes per pick, 32 picks,
yes.
hour and a half plus commercials. You get 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. Like, no awkward interviews with the players where their parents, only one can sit and then one is hovering over them. Like, there's so many bad things about the presentation. That was not because it was decentralized. It was because ESPN does not know how to cover hockey. And I still stick to my conspiracy theory that they got the NHL rights just to kill hockey so they can raise up NBA and NFL. But a lot of hubbub about the draft not having a hub.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they'll improve it next year. The clock thing is weird to me because I think I only saw one warning, and it was on day 2. I think the San Jose Sharks got like a warning for like going over the time limit. What happens if you go over the time limit? Do you lose the pick? Do you get bumped back one spot? Like, what happens?
I don't think it's ever happened. Like, and they couldn't do that. It couldn't be like, oh, whatever, you lose your pick or you move back a spot.
That's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too like just make it a 5-minute clock and have them stick
No.
to it. I don't know.
No,
I don't,
make it keep it at 3. I mean, day 2 took almost as long, like only a little bit longer than day 1, which is
day
crazy.
2 should be like a 2-minute clock. Be like, get up there, make your pick. Like, there's no one cares. No one's watching day 2 except the sickos like us. So, yeah, the draft they'll have a year now to plan it. They heard the feedback, so hopefully they can improve upon it.
Yeah. All right, we've got a year to think about that and bemoan the NHL.
Yeah, but we can bemoan some of the the Flyers negative guys out there, the pessimists, the guys that don't believe in Briere. We're probably happy to see the Scott Wheeler's top 100 prospect list came out on Monday. I wrote that up at broadsthockey.com. Make sure you like and subscribe there. Porter Martone was the highest Flyer there at, I believe, 9th overall, which is pretty good there.
Pretty good.
Oliver Bonk at 45. And then Jet Luchenko at 54. So 3 guys in the top 54, but that was it. And quite a few guys that the Flyers could have picked instead of those guys are a lot higher there.
Yep. 𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙍 is rated 5th on this 100 list. Gabe Perreault is rated 13th. And then I picked Victor Eklund for this exercise, is rated at 21. Jack Nesbitt is not on the list at all. Yeah, so if the Flyers had picked Bouillon and Perreault over Luchenko and Bonk respectively, it'd be kind of a crazy looking prospect pool. But it is what it is. We are where we are, and it's just a list of like what they might be able to do at the NHL level. It's just you're projecting 18 and 19-year-olds to what they can do in a men's league.
Exactly. I really don't get Bouillon being at 5. Like 5 other teams passed on Bouillon, and the Flyers fans are all.
Wheeler is especially high on Bouillon. I think he's incredibly high on Bouillon.
I would think so. I also read something that Wheeler tends to lean more towards the guys that have been drafted like that year, I guess, which makes sense because you haven't seen them yet. Like their ceiling is still as high as it possibly is, and then as they play a few more years, you get a more concrete look at what they might be there. But I was happy.
Bouillon was drafted last year.
Yeah, no, I was saying in general outside of the Bouillon thing, but I was kind of excited to see Martone so high at 9. Like the Flyers got him at 6 in this draft. Who
was one ahead of him?
James Higgins, of course. It was James Higgins. That's going to just be the debate, rage on and on throughout their careers. It's going to be Higgins versus Martone, and Martone could have went 3, and people would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Blackhawks took him at 3, but I mean, I guess Higgins could have went 3 too, but Higgins fell down. They got Martone. I'm excited about Martone. I'm still not sure what they're going to do with him this year, what he wants to do, what the team wants to do. But after the Cutter Gauthier situation, I know a lot of fans are like, just give him what he wants. If he wants to play in the NHL, let him play, make room for him. But I think they have to have a good conversation about what is best for his development.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last time. I don't think he'll start in the NHL this season. It doesn't make sense to me. It's quite a jump. Next year, though, next year he probably makes the team. But the AHL, who we'll cover in a minute because they did some hiring, they're changing the rule that 19-year-old prospects, one per franchise, one per organization, will be permitted to play in the NHL or the AHL at age 19. 20 is the minimum now, but they're going to allow one prospect per team that is 19 years old. Doesn't really help with Jet Luchenko, which is its own thing. I would be surprised if they put Martone in the AHL. Like if he's finished with college, he's he's making the Flyers. Like I
Mhm.
don't think there's any other way for that to go. But player like Nesbitt or I don't know, Amico or 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏 or something,
Yeah.
there's an opportunity there for them to go to the AHL instead of kicking around in the Canadian leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a change that a long time coming now. It's great. It's great to see all the changes now with the the CHL
Yeah.
NCAA agreement thing there. The AHL, you can get one player. Like, let players go where they're best
Where they
going to be
want to.
suited for their development. Like, because all these rules were made back when there were so many. So it's so different now with how players can develop what they want to do. So it's good to have that opening up. Obviously, I think the CHL might push back on it in a few years when you see a lot of these top guys not going there. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens there when we get down the road. I did see one agent said that at age 18, 19, it's better for players to play games, play 60, 70 games in the OHL rather than
No.
half of that
Yeah.
in college, especially
Yeah.
for bigger guys that don't necessarily need all that workout time or whatnot. So we'll see what teams prefer, what players prefer, and maybe in a few years you can kind of compare that. But right now, I like the direction it's headed.
Yeah. And we might get into more interesting conversations now about like online classes because this has never been an issue before. Like if Martone wants to try and make the main team, he's going to miss like a month and a half of college.
Mhm.
So can't do that. But if he's taking online classes and like, there's it's never come up before. Like we don't know what's gonna happen here. So yeah. I don't think he'll make it, but we can talk about that when we do our lineups. Also, with everyone here, smash that like button.
Yeah, get that
Woo!
like button going on. We got some Let's Go Flyers in the chat.
Yeah,
Appreciate all the comments, like button, subscribe. I think we hit 1.5K recently, so
we
keep
did.
that climbing there. We're gonna keep bringing you the great content here on the YouTube throughout the off season. And yeah, Martone, like we'll talk about him more. We talked about all the
Yeah,
prospects last week. We'll get into stuff here, but
we got all summer.
you kind of teased it there. The Phantoms finally made their coaching hire official. Snowden is the hire for them. John Snowden with Nick Schultz and Terrence Wallen joining as assistant coaches there. So,
So I have no opinion on any of this. We'll have to talk to Maddie at some point.
yeah.
When I first saw Schultz, I thought the Hammer is going to be an assistant coach in the AHL. I didn't know there was another Schultz involved in the organization, but wouldn't that be something? Can you imagine if the Hammer was an assistant coach in Lehigh Valley?
Well, they brought in some UFC fighter to teach them how to fight. So maybe Schultz has to teach the kids how to how to battle
God,
a little bit.
I will always get so frustrated with fans who are pissed that they did that after practice optional fighting lesson. It was optional. It was after main practice, and the only reason they offered it is because Ross Johnston like handed Ronnie Adder's ass to him. Like it was not even close in a preseason game.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I'd rather them know how to fight and not need to than get in a fight and not know what to do. Like Joel Farabee, anytime he dropped the gloves, I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, he would just hang on for dear life and not get your face caved in. Which if you're fighting a non-fighter, that's fine. But if you're going against one of the big boys, it's gonna be a problem there. So
It's gonna be tough.
yeah, no real thoughts on the coaching staff. It's just not Ian LePerriere, which is exciting to see. Happy for Nick Schultz a little bit because he drafted in 2000, debuted in 2001, played until 2017. So he played through a few different eras. He had to adjust his game to play there. So hopefully he can use some of that intelligence for the coaches there. Maybe he can work his way up at some point because Flyers need a good defensive coach. We saw how important Brad Shaw can be. So maybe that's something he has there in the future.
Yep.
All right, gonna go to a quick ad break for the podcast listeners and come back with our lineup predictions. All right, let's just get right into it here. Let's go with our lineup predictions. Like we said, a lot of moving parts. This is our first one. I'm planning on doing this a few times throughout the off season, especially when there's no news to talk about. We can go in there and tweak it. We can just do like 15 minutes on it or whatever. So let me share my screen. I put together a something to look at here. So your YouTube YouTube watchers have something here. Just podcast lineup predictions here. Ryan, Joe, very fancy spreadsheet here.
Yes.
Let's just, you're gonna go line by line, player by player. How do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's start with the forwards and just go line by line.
Line by line. All right, I have mine typed out here, so I'm gonna put them in black. My top line here for the Flyers, opening night, 2025 here. Apparently, we're getting the schedule tomorrow at 1:00, so we'll know when and who they're playing. We have Alex Bump making the team on the top line with Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov. Very exciting top line there for me. My thought process here: they bring in Zegras. People are underrating Zegras. People don't realize how good Zegras can be. Yeah, he's not going to be great in the faceoff dot, but you can win 45% of them. And even if you lose the faceoff, you can win possession off the battle on that. So Bump's a guy that can shoot. He can get to the middle for Michkov.
Wait a minute. Who's winning possession?
Bump is getting in there winning possession.
Okay.
Bump's winning the battles. Zegras and Michkov have the flash. That's what you got. What do you have? What do you have for your top line?
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Owen Tippett.
Okay.
Couturier.
This is well, I have all this in white. Let me all right, Couturier.
Michkov.
Boring, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. Yeah, you have go through your thought process there.
So I think Tippett would benefit from playing with Coots. I think that could help him out. Michkov and Coots also were clearly a pretty good pair, but they're both kind of slow. I think Tippett brings a bit of a speed element to that line, and Coots is so good at winning possessions and getting in there on the boards and just being a good defensive forward. I think that creates a lot of opportunity for Tippett and Michkov to make, get their offense going because they have Mr. Reliable in the middle of them.
Yeah, like that. It makes a lot of sense. You got Michkov with you got the brains there. You got the speed, and Couturier. He has the brains as well. Of course, Steve Jaco has coined him Mr. Chestnut Checkers in there in the middle. So I guess he can win board battles a bit, but like I do want to see some more physicality out of Tippett. And talking to Martinez last night, he seemed to be pretty high on Tippett. Did not think he'd be going anywhere. So
yeah,
this is a big year for him because the Flyers have guys coming up. They have Martone coming up. They got Bump coming up. Tippett has to prove that he can be a part of the future here, and putting him in on the top line makes sense there.
He also, I think it's next summer, his partial NTC kicks in. So if they're desperate to move him to a team that's going to be on that list, clock's ticking. I don't think they will. I think I'd agree with Martinez and say he's going to be here a while.
Yeah, and as the cap goes up with Tippett, $6.2 million is going to just be looking better and better. Even if he is ends up being a third line piece on a contending team, that's third line piece, power play, puts up some goals, has the speed. That's always going to play.
He can play both wings. He can play anywhere in your top nine. When we talk about versatility, we always think, oh, Noah Cates can play wing and center, but he has a ceiling where he probably is never going to play on a top line. Tippett, if you've got an injury or something else, he could play on your top line and not be that far out of place. So that's another kind of flexibility that he brings to the roster.
Yeah, Tippett has the thing where he can be the third guy on a top line, the second guy on a second line, or the main option on a third line. He can mold his game to be that thing. Hopefully see some more defensive play out of him. Michkov's not going to put too much in there. Obviously, Couturier does, and that's the big thing. I think this season is getting the centers, getting the centers there, and then you have the wingers just focusing on offense, because I think most of the centers this year are going to be very defense oriented.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Are you surprised to see Bump on my top line?
A little bit, but I know the hype is real. So I just see Bump, Zegras, and Michkov, and I think there is no defense being played at all on that line. That's a lot of youth. That's a lot of expectations of even a little bit of defense. I think that's a really risky line, but I like the fun of it.
I want Zegras and Michkov together. I think they're going to try that. Why not try it right out of the gate? See if they can gain chemistry in training camp in the preseason. And I thought about putting Zegras on the wing with Couturier at center, I thought about putting Dvorak on the wing to take faceoffs, to be the defensive guy there, but you know, let the opponent focus on 𝙒𝙗, focus on 𝙏𝙗𝙆, and let Bump surprise people there. Get into the slot, big body, physical, can shoot the puck. So that'll be an exciting line, I think.
Yeah, I think 𝙒𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙆 will get a look together. I just don't know when it's going to be. I also just want to point this out. 𝙒𝙗 is probably going to play some wing at some point this season, and I want to get out ahead of it and say, don't be pissed off when it happens. If he plays 75% of the season at center but gets moved to wing because another prospect's getting a look at center, or there's an injury and he needs to move over to wing, I don't know what it is. It might happen. Don't be mad when it happens. It's gonna be this year's playing 𝙏𝙗𝙆 with Ryan Poehling. You know what I mean? Like, you move 𝙒𝙗 to wing. What are you doing? Yeah. Why is 𝙏𝙗𝙆 playing with Ryan Poehling? So,
anyway, I completely agree. 𝙒𝙗 will probably play most of the time at wing, but I feel like they got him, maybe not most of the time, but 50-50. Like, he's going to play a lot on wing, but they got him.
Okay.
He does have that. He has the 1C potential. He doesn't have the franchise player, superstar 1C that fans want, but he can be one of the best 30 centers in the league. He's already had 2 60-point seasons. I think I looked last year, like 50, 60 guys only had 60 points. So if he can put that up with 𝙏𝙗𝙆, improve the power play, I would love to see it.
Yeah. And I think maybe later in the summer we'll go over expectations for what we want to see from these guys.
Yeah.
But
yes, absolutely.
All right, second line.
Who you got? You go first there.
Me? All right. Noah Cates.
All right.
𝙒𝙗. Konechny.
That's a solid line there. Who's winning the faceoff?
Well, who's getting possession back off the boards? Cates. That's what he can do is
Cates and TK. Yeah, Cates and TK can get in there.
The reason, my big thing, I want to see 𝙒𝙗 and Konechny together, because 𝙒𝙗's one of the big criticisms is that he's soft, like he's not engaged. Who's always engaged? Konechny.
Yeah.
He's just a shit stirrer, and Cates too is always engaged, not in the shit stirrer way, but in the, like, even when he doesn't have the puck, he is busting his ass to get it back. I think that putting that kind of a line together to pair with 𝙒𝙗, it kind of sets an example for him to follow. You know what I mean? I think I think it's a good dynamic. And it doesn't hang him out to dry defensively, because that Cates is good enough to get back and manage. And Konechny's never going to be a defensive stalwart, but he's okay, and he's a good PKer. Like, I think there's something there.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think the only thing I would do there, I might just swap Cates and 𝙒𝙗. Like, neither of them are great on faceoffs, but in the defensive zone, you want Cates being
just let Cates take the faceoff. Just let Cates take the faceoff. He doesn't have to be the center.
Not even for the faceoff, but like, I feel like he's just so good in the defensive zone, playing between the dots, playing down low, where you can have 𝙒𝙗 maybe cheat the zone a little bit more. But
all right,
very nitpicky there. Very nitpicky.
I want to see 𝙒𝙗 at center to start the season. That's my big thing. Yeah. And also,
agreed.
Honestly, you make a good point. If this line is out for a defensive zone draw, you play Cates at center. If they're out for an offensive zone draw, you start 𝙒𝙗 at center and just go from there.
Yeah, like these we say, like, oh, who's going to play this position? Like, once you get out there, like, it's just, who's F1, who's F2, who's F3, who's in the zone, where are they at? Like, so that's what the big thing is there.
Yeah. All right. Show me line 2.
Okay, so line 2, starting with left wing, Owen Tippett. Both got him on the left side in the top 6. Second line center, Jean Couturier, of course.
Okay.
And then second line right wing, you can probably guess here, Travis Konechny.
Okay.
We've seen that line together before. I was looking it up before the show. Apparently, we didn't see it as much as I thought. It was 2023, 2024. They played together quite a bit. Just a reliable, good second line. I feel like that would even be a good second line on most teams in the NHL. And the Flyers are going to have like 2 second lines and 2 third lines. That's what they're going to had to be built here. Don't really think there's too much to say about it here. We agree Tippett is on the left side. He's going to be, because they have 𝙏𝙗𝙆, Konechny, Tippett, Brink, four right wingers there, and Hathaway plays right wing too. So at least one of them has to move to the left side. Tippett has done it before. Maybe we see Konechny doing it with Couturier and 𝙏𝙗𝙆, but pretty much agree here on 5 out of the top 6 players here for the Flyers.
Yeah, you're just really bullish on Bump, I guess, is the
bullish on Bump. That's gonna be the title at some point. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Alex Bump can do, and I feel like if Bump makes a team, he's gonna be in the top 6. I did consider just putting him in Forster's spot with Cates and Brink on the third line. I think that could ultimately be where he ends up. But we'll get to it. I mean, as we unveil here, but I just don't know if they're going to have Dvorak be the 4C. Like I know the fourth line isn't going to be the fourth line.
Spoiler alert.
I forget what I have for the rest of my lineup here. So I'm going to be I think the Flyers have the center depth now. They don't have like the clear 1C, the clear 2C, but they have Zegras, Couturier, Dvorak, Cates, Luchenko if you can make the team, like
Obels,
Dorwart, Briere keeps mentioning, like there's guys there. You're not going to have to be forcing round pegs into square holes or whatever it is there.
Yeah. All right.
Give
me your third line.
Go down to the third line here. Third line left winger is Noah Cates.
There he is.
Third line center, Jet Luchenko. Jet Luchenko is making the team as the 3C.
Okay.
And then the right winger here is going to be Bobby Brink.
Brink. Okay.
You got Luchenko taking the Forster spot on that shutdown line. I think they're going to get a bit easier matchups here, having Couturier, having other guys. I think Tocchet will be able to mix and match and not have Cates be the shutdown line going up against McDavid or up against whoever he did last year. And maybe they do. Maybe Luchenko proves that he can do that, because that does seem to be his calling card. And I think the big surprise here is Luchenko making the team. And my thought process behind that is they have to see what he is. They have to go into next offseason knowing what Luchenko can be. Can he be a 2C? Can he potentially, have that ceiling to be a 1C if he's with the right wingers? And I also think he can't make the AHL. He can't go to college. He played games already. Going back to the OHL will be fine for him, but I think playing third line minutes, even if he gets a night off here and there, is going to be what's best for his development.
I could see it. I'm game to give it a try. I'm just not nearly as confident considering the rest of their depth. But all right. For me, third line left wing, Alex Bump.
All right.
There he is. Center, Christian Dvorak.
All right.
Right wing, Brink. Yeah, you were typing it before you even said it.
I mean,
Where else is he going to play? Fourth line? Fuck no.
Yeah, I hate that. Well, I personally hate that Brink is now becoming one of the default, potential trade pieces there, because I think he is a great third line winger. He's took a huge step up last season. He won whatever award for most improved or whatnot, and he's still very young. He's 24. He's the same age as Trevor Zegras, both 24. Ked York 24. I feel like he has some room to grow.
Yeah, I'm into it. I just put Dvorak there because he's a reliable veteran center. Bump is a rookie. Brink is a much improved forechecker and physical player, but he's still small. I think there's just a nice balance on that kind of a line. And Brink is also such a good, he can make plays, and Bump is a good finisher, hopefully at the NHL level. I just think that Brink can set Bump up for a lot of stuff. Also, having them on the same line, Brink passes it to Bump, Bump back to Brink. Brink puts it into the net. It's going to be some verbal acrobatics for JJ when the season starts.
You're trying to twist JJ's tongue there a little bit.
I know. Just wait till Barkey's on there and you've got Bump, Barkey, Brink on the same line. I don't care if Barkey isn't going to be a center at the NHL level. You put him there just to make JJ's life a nightmare.
Get bonk on the ice there too. Get all the killer bees there.
I love it.
Yeah,
the killer bees. I like that.
I like that. I like that with Dvorak, because last year Dvorak played most of his minutes with Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson, and you can kind of squint and see, Alex Bump being a physical guy like Josh Anderson, Brink being an undersized guy. So I do like that mix there quite a bit. I do like that.
All right, fourth line left wing. I need to qualify this by saying this is the opening night roster, not the season-long lineup. This is just, yep, exactly. Nick DeLaurier, he's playing game one just because, like, you don't do your veteran enforcer dirty like that. He plays.
Yeah, and hopefully it's a good matchup. Hopefully the Flyers get like a rivalry game or something, and maybe we see a opening night fight.
Yeah. So Nick DeLaurier, game one, night one, left wing. Center, I have 𝙒𝙆𝙎𝙏𝙊𝙆 for this.
Yeah.
And then wing halfway. Yep.
Halfway. Yep.
I do. Yeah, it's pretty milquetoast, but I do have like a toss up for the 13th forward between Carson Dorwart and Nikita Grabenkin. Like, I could see a world where once DeLaurier gets his opening night game, you sub in Grabenkin. Yeah. So that was who I was deciding between in the fourth line left wing, because I want to see Grabenkin there, but I understand that night one, game one, it could be most likely Nick DeLaurier.
Yeah. Bertita said something I hadn't really thought about last season with Grabenkin, is that the Flyers just wanted him to have one change of scenery. They didn't want him to play some games with the Flyers, go down to the Phantoms, whatever. So just get him with the Phantoms and whatnot. Because when we talked about the trade, it was like, all right, Grabenkin gonna play in the NHL, see what he can do. But I feel like it was good to get him in the AHL, and yeah, I think he makes open. So you have Grabenkin as your 13th forward, probably.
I think so. If they need a center, maybe it's Dorwart, but then I'd be like, you're putting Grabenkin and Dorwart on a fourth line. That seems like a risk. They're both young, so I think Grabenkin's probably my 13th forward.
Yeah, because I mean, you have Cates on the wing. If you need a center, you can put Cates at center.
You can figure it out from there.
There's the moving pieces there. I thought about going especially spicy and going 11-7 for my opening night roster.
Well, okay, all right, John Tortorella.
But I figured I want to look into how often Rick Tocchet does that, and I wanted to do 12-6 just because that's
standard.
Right, my fourth line center. He's not here yet. The $5.4 million man, Christian Dvorak, and then the right winger is Garnett Hathaway there. Mentioned it before. It's going to be 2 third lines. Maybe Łuchenko ends up playing 10 minutes. Dvorak plays 12 a night. Like, going to be mixing and matching there, because there's not going to be a line where they play just 5 minutes. They're not going to be benched for the whole third period. Tocchet's going to want to be able to roll his 4 lines. Dvorak can win faceoffs, defensiveness. Grabenkin, forecheck, backcheck, paycheck. He loves to get in on the battles. Seems like a fun guy there. Then you got Gary Hathaway.
Some PP2 time, because he's the net front guy. We need that.
Yeah, I mean, the if we were predicting power play units too, there's so many moving pieces there. Like, I'm starting to think they could maybe go with a 5-man power play unit, because you want Zegras, 5
forward. Gotcha.
A 5 forward power play unit, because like you need someone to win the draw on the faceoff. So I think Couturier would be up there on the unit with Zegras, Michkov, Konechny, and then you could have like Brink at the point. You could have, I mean, I want to see York there, because York without Tortorella could maybe thrive there. But yeah, I think Grabenkin, I don't know if he has a better chance right now than Bump to make the team, but I think he's right up there with him.
Yep, I can see it. So it looks like we only have 2 players that we differentiate on. You have Grabenkin making it outright when I'm like, no, Nick DeLaurier is getting game 1.
Yeah.
And then you have Łuchenko over 𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙎, I think. But otherwise, pretty identical. We also, I think it's interesting that we both decided Cates was going to play wing instead of center, but he's the Tyson Forster replacement almost.
Yeah. Well, I only did that to get Łuchenko in there. Like, if I had, otherwise I would have had Cates on that. I may have moved Bump down to that line and just changed. Like, there's so many moving parts. Like, there's so many different combinations we can talk throughout the offseason there. But I mean, there's pretty much 10 locks. You got to move them around. And then Bump appears to be not quite a lock yet, but as long as he has a decent camp, a good camp, I think he has what it takes to make the team. And then
he's made an impression.
It'll be, do they want Dorwart? Do they want Kaplan? Keeps being talked about, like Grabenkin. There's moving parts there.
I mean, the only reason to consider Dorwart, Kaplan, and Grabenkin is that they're a little older, like 22 as opposed to 20, like Barkey and Bonk. So, they probably deserve a look first. But anyway, let's do the defense.
All right,
Who you
let's
got?
take a quick break here for the podcast listeners and come back with the defenseman here. All right, starting. I feel like this is going to be just very, very bland, very predictable. I have a York Sanheim
Oh,
top pairing.
okay.
Sanheim, I think is better on the right side. He can provide some offense. And York, I think, could maybe take a step forward this year without Tortorella having that contract there. So yeah, going with the York Sanheim pairing up top.
Okay. I have
You got it.
Sanheim on my top pair, but he's on the left.
All right. You got your boy. You're a fly guy, aren't you? You're a dry guy.
I am a dry guy. I've got Jamie Drysdale as the 1RD.
I would not mind seeing that either.
I think he's graduated from Nick Seeler. I think it's time to give him a not that I don't have anything against Nick Seeler. I like Nick Seeler. He's a good player. But I think Drysdale needs a little bit of a boost. I think he's ready to take on maybe a bit more of a workload. If he's not, you just move him back down. But I'd like to see if you can give him the responsibilities and let him loose, see what happens. And with 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙆𝙏𝙏, who Quinn Hughes excelled under, I know Drysdale's not Quinn Hughes, but this is maybe an environment conducive to maximizing the skill set that Drysdale has.
Yeah, and you got some pretty nice numerology there with 6 on the left and 9 on the right. Not sure if that's nice into your decision there at all, but yeah, because 𝙏𝙒𝙒𝙏, coached Sanheim with Team Canada, or he was assistant coach, whatever, at Four Nations Face-Off. He had high praise for him, so it's really interesting to see like what Sanheim's going to be the next few years. Because if he's on the right side, he can take more of that offensive jump like we saw in the first half. But if he's with Drysdale, can he become that shutdown guy on the left side? Because he has the big stick, he has the big frame. He doesn't use it necessarily physically, but I think he can become like a solid top defenseman, even if he's not putting up offense.
Yeah, I think the balance is there to make it work. Part of what made him so offensively oriented in 23-24, it was the move to the right side. So if you move him back to the left, maybe the defensive side kind of steps up in the absence of the points. But yeah, that means then for my second pair, my left guy is Yam.
York, all right.
Here's the spicy one. 𝙏𝙏𝙆𝙏𝙏𝙏.
Grans on the second pair. I like that. I do like that quite a bit.
There's your Risto replacement.
That kind of a shutdown type pair there.
Well, here's the thing. I have been adamant that Cam York is at his best when he was paired with Ristolainen. Like, he was way more offensively oriented because he knew that Risto had his back. With Sanheim was up on the play way faster than York was able to do. I think if you have Grans being a more steadier presence, I think York jumps up. I think he is way more engaged and way more active in the offensive zone. I did consider putting Zamula there, but I wanted to see what 𝙏𝙏𝙆𝙏𝙆𝙏 can do. He's also, again, on the older side for the prospect pool. I think kind of got to see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, did you put Grans there just to be a little bit spicy? Did you do that?
A little spicy.
Just add a little spice in there.
A little spicy.
Yeah. All right. My defensemen continue to be very boring. I got a Seeler Drysdale second pair.
Okay.
I think Seeler is that reliable guy on the left side. He can shut down plays if he has to, if Drysdale takes that extra chance. So just very, very boring there. They played 588 minutes together last year, so they're very, very familiar with each other.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. What's the song? Second verse, same as the first, and this year, same as last.
Yeah. And then my third pair, you got Zamula, and you have Juulsen. I think Juulsen is a very much a 𝙏𝙒𝙒𝙏𝙏 guy. I did consider putting Grans there. Would not be surprised if Grans makes the opener night roster and rotates in with Juulsen a bit, but like how you have Delorier on the fourth line, I think 𝙏𝙏𝙏 will give his guy the start.
Juulsen's my seventh.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. He's
that's where he should be. He should be the seventh.
Yeah. This one you can put him on whatever side you want. Seeler, Zamula, Seeler. I don't really care which side.
Yeah, I think Seeler. I think Zamula can play more of the right side. Seeler's more of a left side guy there, but
I mean, 𝙏𝙗𝙆 has to learn to play the right. If he wants to be an NHL player, like, you got to play both sides, dude. You're not good enough to command, I can only play this side. You're not good enough to do that.
Yeah, 𝙏𝙗𝙆's such an interesting case because he's 25 now. He's had, you know, a few, I'm trying to get up his page to see how many games, 155 games. And what's the number? Like 200, 300 games before you can actually see what they are. Probably a solid third pair guy for most teams, but you know, you got guys that could potentially come up and take his spot. So
Dozen.
yeah,
Well, okay, not a dozen, but half a dozen probably.
half a dozen defensemen that can come up for 𝙏𝙗𝙆.
Not immediately, but are like
Okay.
prospect pool in the wings, right? Bonk, Amico,
McDonald.
McDonald, like,
Yeah.
this, forgetting someone. Oh, Andre, Emil Andre. Interesting that both of us did not have Andre making the lineup. Oh, Spencer Gill's another one. Like Adam Ginning. Like, well, Adam Ginning's the same age as 𝙏𝙗𝙆, but you know, you get what I mean. But interesting that we both have Andre not making the lineup. Was he your 7?
No, I think he only cracks the lineup if there's an injury to York, Sanheim, or Drysdale, really, because that's the type of game he plays. He's smaller, like, so he's not, because Risto's out. You're not be like, all right, let's get Andre in there for Risto. Like, he's fallen off quite a bit. I mean, maybe he's able to have a good year in the AHL this year if he gets a solid partner there on the top pair. Maybe he plays with McDonald or plays with Bonk. Maybe you can go to Andre Bonk pairing. Like, but yeah, he was so exciting the start of last year and just, you know, fell off a little bit. I think he had some sort of injury. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but yeah, he's fallen off. That's what it is. A mid-body injury it is here from broadsthockey.com in January. So
yep. Yeah. Do we have to do the goalies, or is it pretty
no
obvious?
I mean, Ersson's getting open night start, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Vladar's number 2.
Vladar's number 2. Yeah.
Nobody spicy. No spicy Fedotov shenanigans.
No, we didn't get a chance to get into it last night with Martinez just because I feel like it wasn't pertinent, it wasn't worth talking about. But like,
no.
I do wonder who the third goalie up is once there's an injury, because, you know, I feel like the Flyers are definitely going to use 3 goalies this year. Like, is it Kolosov? Is it Fedotov? Are they going to be carrying one of them in the NHL? Like, are they going to be carrying Fedotov?
Well,
was there some sort of
can't, because they don't have the cap space for his entire contract.
Once you IR, or is Ellis on IR? No, you IR Ellis.
Once you LTIR Ellis.
If they have to, yeah.
And they don't want to do that because they've made it very clear that they do not want any bonus overages carrying to next season.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have to bury Fedotov then.
Yeah, and they can't call him up unless they move someone else to LTIR or waive someone shocking, like if they waive 𝙏𝙗𝙆.
I don't know. That's why I kind of think there might be a sneaky trade coming in August. Like, I don't think they're confident in this defenseman group. I just really don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind adding to it, but I don't want to see a like big swing on an aging guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There, like, I also could just see them dumping like Delorier, 1.75 million there. He's last year of his deal. If he wants to go, if he's okay going somewhere else, like, I just feel like there's a lot. Like, Hathaway is getting to the point where he can be moved when you have Grebenkin ready, you got Bump ready. I think he won't.
I think the Hathaway replacement is Shane Van Sage, but he's going to be about 2 or 3 years away.
Yeah, I could see Barkey taking that in 2 years as well. More of as a middle six guy.
Okay.
But I think Hathaway, unless he wants to stick around through this rebuild, like, I think he's the type of guy that a playoff team will want. Like, I mentioned it a few months ago. I think the Hurricanes would really use someone like him and a Nick Seeler, guys that can get in guys' faces, because they're a joke in the playoffs to most teams, especially the Panthers. Like, they just cannot they cannot compete with the Panthers at all.
They won.
I mean, most
game.
teams can't. Most teams can't,
No,
but like
most teams can't.
most teams can at least try to fight them or like shit talk them. And the Hurricanes
Well,
just have nobody.
Speaking of the Panthers, they do have to make a move before the start of the season because they are over the cap and don't have any obvious LTIR candidates. So,
yeah, it's amazing they brought everyone back.
Every one of them. It's crazy. But they're one Evan Rodriguez over the cap. That
could end up being the dump there, couldn't it?
Unless they want to trade 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏, I would very happily take 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏 and trade for Anton Lundell, but Lundell's baby Barkov. He's not going
Anton
anywhere.
Lundell at $5 million through 2030 is one of the best contracts in the league.
Has to. Oh well, Gus Forsling I think is probably the best in the league.
Well, yeah, all the Panthers contracts, like all the Panthers, they got locked out there. Just
crazy.
Top 5, top 10 there.
If you keep your cap books clean, you can extend your core to however much you want. That's the lesson.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just throw out our power play units. Like, do you have anything off the top of your head?
I don't think they'll do a 5F. I think they'll stick 4-1. Mostly just because I think they want to see Drysdale really take command of that role.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe now that York is out of the doghouse, maybe he makes a case to also get some power play time. But so Drysdale, Unit 1, Drysdale, Zegras, Michkov, TK, and I think Coots for face-off purposes.
Face-offs, net front. Like I feel like that could be a good power play unit. And then you still have 5 guys for the second unit. Like Brink's been good on there. Tippett. Maybe you go 2D.
He had that short stint where he was like the power play guy. What a wild year,
everyone did. Yeah, we get York back there. Like Dvorak can play net front power play too. If Gurbenkin makes it, he can play power play too. Like, I just want to not sigh every time the Flyers go on a power play. I want to have some sort of excitement.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the first one is going to be like adrenaline shot. When we get our first power play, we're going to be like, oh my God, who's going to do the Michigan? And then it's going to be Sean Couturier. And you'll be like, well, didn't expect that one.
Yeah, I mean, Michkov scored a Michigan over in the NHL KHL All-Star game over the weekend after saying that he wasn't going to do it in the upcoming season. So, maybe he's just trying to lure goalies into a false sense of security and pulling it out. But
what do you think they call the Michigan in Russia?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I don't have a joke for that even.
The Michigan. I feel like there is a good punchline to that, but I just came up with the question and don't have the punchline yet. So, come back next week when I have the punchline for that joke.
Yeah, excellent reason to come back there.
Yeah.
Anything else happened over the past week or two we want to touch on here? I guess we got a kind of a Tyson Forster injury update. Kevin Kurz reported yesterday, per team source, he's continuing to rehab from injury to a tendon near his elbow. We'll have an MRI next week to check on the infection that developed. Flyers still hope he can be ready to start the year, but there's a ton of uncertainty until then too. I mean, get it cleaned up, get 100%, and then come back. That's just what it has to be.
Yeah, don't take a risk with this. Just what's the point? You're on a 2-year bridge deal, and if you come back early and then miss again the second part of that second year, you're not helping the team because you're playing injured, and you're not helping yourself because you're not like saying, hey, I deserve this big fat contract extension.
I was wondering if how much the Flyers knew about the injury when they gave him the bridge deal, and we're like, all right,
me too.
But they signed that in late May. They said he had the injury at Worlds and then he had the infection. So I wonder what the timeline of that was. So we have Bump in there, I think, as our Forster replacement. And then, if Bump holds his own, he sticks up there. If not, maybe, he gets bumped down to the AHL and see him later if there's another injury.
Looking at these lineups, like they're not going to win a cup with that. But that's not a bad lineup, honestly. Like that's
no,
it's missing some stuff at the top, but that's a pretty solid start.
It's a playoff bubble team. As long as you get league average
team.
goaltending, league average power play, that's a playoff team. That's what it comes down to. If you get bottom
and the
10
blue
power,
line, the blue line has to hold. That's my biggest problem. They have forwards for days.
Yeah,
a Sanheim injury would crater the season. Like that would be the end of the that just be it. If Couturier is injured again, they have enough depth to kind of like patchwork it together. But if Sanheim goes down, like they're cooked. Even if York goes down, they're kind of cooked. Like it's a dire defense situation. So
that's why I think they're not done yet. That's why I think like the Sabres are a team I keep mentioning. I keep looking at. They got the 2-year deal done with Byram at 6.25. They got Dahlin. They got Power. They got Byram. They got Samuelson, who, I mean, he has a long contract till 2030 at 4.2. There was talk about buying him out. Maybe he gets a change of scenery to the team that his dad played for. Can come home.
Interesting you say that. The Byram contract, they now have a 48-hour buyout window. The Buffalo Sabres do. Because this happened 2 years ago when Cates filed for arbitration, and then they didn't do it. So they signed the contract and immediately bought out Tony DeAngelo.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on the Sabres and see if they buy out Samuelson.
And like it is a bit long, but 4.2 million with the cap going up, like I could see the Flyers maybe taking that on as like a cap dump, because I know the Sabres have the cap space.
It's too many years.
They don't want to spend the money. It's too many years. It really is, unless they see something there where they can kind of fix him a bit, but you don't want that on
fix injury. This is Ryan Ellis part 2 waiting to happen. If you take him on at that contract, like you wait for him to get bought out, and then maybe sign him for like a 2-year deal. See what happens.
If he gets bought out, I'd be all about trading Zamula, signing him for a short-term deal, or even keeping Zamula. And like then you have Jolson as the 7. Grimes can get more seasoning in the AHL. But the Sabres are they're like a thrift shop. Every team is waiting for the prices to go down, and then they're going to go in there and buy them up.
All right, Macklemore. You gonna pop some tags up in Buffalo?
I'm gonna pop some Tages up in Buffalo.
Pop some Tages. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. Tage Thompson. He's still my ultimate 1C. Add Tage Thompson to this lineup. Take out Tippett, Zamula, and Andre in a pick, and like they're ready. They're ready. Add McDavid next off season. Stanley Cup, here we come.
Add Kirill Kaprizov too.
Yeah, just bring them all home. Bring them all.
Jack Eichel.
Yeah, superstar team here. And
can you imagine having McDavid, Eichel, Couturier down the middle? That would be just. That'd be absurd.
I mean, Couturier as being the 3C there, I think we can probably do. We can put Luchenko there. Put Zegras is a much more exciting name than Couturier.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Anything else you wanted to cover, or we good?
No, I think we're pretty good here. I mean, almost got to a full hour of actual hockey talk during the off season, so can't really get too much better than that. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Broad Street Hockey on YouTube, putting out a ton of great content there. Also subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple and Spotify. broadstreethockey.com, trying to put a lot of good stuff up there throughout the off season as well. I believe we have the 25 under 25 is coming up in August, I think, is when we typically do that. So thought about doing like a top 10 prospect stream at some point if we can get Jacob on and some other prospect people, but hoping to do more of that stuff.
I think a Phantoms preview would be really good this year, considering how many prospects are going to be. It's a young team. We went through it in the Slack chat, and like that's going to be a young AHL team. Should be cool. And while you're looking at all our channels, hit that like button, smash subscribe,
hit the like button, share it with your friends, do all that good stuff there.
Press the bell, ring the bell.
Yeah, I know I say this a lot, but I am truly trying to do a better job of, if we're going live at some point, scheduling it at least a day in advance, so you guys can know if you can watch it live, if you can plan to listen to it later. So I'm going to try to stick to that.
Yeah. And Gilbs, where can they find you?
You can find me primarily on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social, and that's all I'm plugging. Joe?
Yep. You can also find me only on Blue Sky at jfdemarini.bsky.social.
Right, of course, make sure you follow broadstreethockey.com on Blue Sky and subscribe, like and subscribe, and read at broadstreethockey.com as well. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers!